Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good.
I know what you're thinking. Finally, Mumbles is doing a top 10 list. What is it going to be on? Top 10 indie games of all time? Top 10 favorite types of slime? No, wrong. Well, actually, maybe someday the slime one, but for now, this video is my top 10 favorite Portal 2 community test chambers. Look, sometimes a girl gets sad that there's no Portal 3 yet, has a glass of wine, and plays test chambers until her brain turns into oatmeal. Right now, it looks like Portal is just being used to demo VR stuff, and the last time I tried to play VR, I had to lay on the ground until the room stopped spinning, so this is what I do instead. Yes, the only way I'm going to get my Portal fixed is through the genius of the mod community and their weird, masochist way of putting together a test chamber. Back in 2012, oh god, 2012 was so long ago. In 2012, Valve released the Perpetual Testing Initiative, probably because they knew they'd never make another Portal game. They not only made creating test chambers easy for even a simple gamer like myself, but they also added in new voice lines from Cave Johnson for the community to have fun with. And so began the multiverse. The idea is that the test chambers made by players would be part of the Portal world through the multiverse theory, and thus allowed us to make up our own stories that were canon, technically. To be honest, the editor in the game is pretty limited. So a lot of the test chambers we're going to be looking at were made with Hammer. I think the in-game editor was mostly for people looking to make a quick and easy test chamber to mess with their friends. With Hammer, there's way less restriction, and the possibility for testing are endless. That said, I'm really happy that Valve gave the community new voice lines and encouraged them to make their own science. Yay! So, here are my top 10 favorite Portal test chambers. Some of them are part of a series, others are based around a gimmick. Mostly, I look for originality and puzzles that click with my brain, or even blow my brain. I'll do my best not to spoil the puzzles, so you can enjoy them too. Number 10. Quantum Entanglement 1 and 2 by RenderMouse. The gimmick of these test chambers is really fun. The blue and orange blocks are linked through quantum entanglement, so if you move one block, the other moves too. Spooky. At first, it's fun to play around with this concept, watching the other block float through the air mysteriously as you move the one in your hands. Once you get the concept, you'll breeze through the first set of chambers. They're just there to kind of show off the gimmick and make sure that you're comfortable with it. The second set of tests are much more ambitious. The rooms are huge and there's a lot more steps towards completing your goal. This requires thinking instead of smashing up against a puzzle like I normally do. In fact, I think I lost a cube I was trying to transport across the room because I was just pushing a bunch of buttons to see what they did. The ambiance of the test chambers are unique and pleasing. Since the light is used to mark the boundaries of quantumness, the lights of the entire test chamber need to be turned down low. This creates an oddly relaxing puzzle-solving space. Also, this universe is run by a cat. All hail the kitty overlord. Number 9. Simplified by Mevius. This test is so simple. Or is it? A fizzler in front of you, a fizzler to the side, and what exactly is the point of the fizzler back there? Trying to figure out how to get the cube where it needs to go means pacing around this simple, small map, trying to figure out how to get past these fizzlers. I've read the comments on this, and some people think this map is simply impossible, and that the creator made a room to make us all feel like idiots, and seriously, what is the point of that fizzler over there? I love this puzzle because it allows all kinds of thinkers. The plotters, the probers, and me, the smash everything against the wall until you get an idea-ers. Once you catch hold of the first step of what needs to be done, you'll feel amazing. It's a rush finding the solution to something that seems so simple it must be impossible. If you decide to check this one out, sit with it for a while, test what you can do, and then let the answers hit you like a cube to the face. Number 8, Pinball Portal 2 by Toolby. One of the first things I did when I was looking through test chambers for this video was search for Portal Pinball. I didn't think I was going to actually get anything resembling playing an actual pinball machine, so I'm glad that this test chamber proved me wrong. It's set up like a giant, and I mean giant, pinball table using real in-game physics and assets to make this thing work. The robots we know and love sit as the audience members to the side, and the goal is to beat up GLaDOS with a specific skill shot. So how do you play it? You jump to flip. This board is actually pretty genius since it has a multi-ball, extra ball, and lots of other different skill shots to try and hit. I really enjoyed playing this, and I'm impressed how well it functions using the tools given by the game. Maybe someone should send this copy to Stern Pinball. They're making machines again, you know. Number 7, And the Abyss Gazes Back, Part 1 by Osco. Before you ask, no, there isn't a Part 2. Which is a shame because these test chambers are a masterclass in setting the mood with atmosphere and not much else. This short and sweet test chamber reminds me a lot of how I felt when I played the first Half-Life. There are puzzles in each room, but it's not always clearly defined by test chambers and numbers on walls. Instead, you have to navigate your way through this rusted underground hellhole with a half-functioning portal gun. I wouldn't call this world difficult to solve, not by a long shot, but who cares in such a moody place like this? It almost feels so much darker than what Portal normally is. After all, I think Portal is not just great because of the puzzles, I think it's also great because of the atmosphere. When you really play Portal, you feel like you're inside Aperture Science. Number 6, Penrose 1-3 by Stratos. Playing off the concept of quantum puzzling, Penrose takes it into a new direction. Instead of 2 blocks being linked by quantum entanglement, we find ourselves in test chambers that can be linked to other dimensions. Actually, you know what? Before we get into how the puzzling works, I'd like to point out the beautiful design and the aesthetics to these test chambers. I feel like I'm doing science in a classy winter retreat that a James Bond villain might own. I love this wood paneling, the soft colors, and that green fizzy feel that indicates the different dimensions. It's clear that there was a lot of work put into making this look good, and I really appreciate that. Okay, back to the actual puzzles. Stratos says that they'd like the puzzles to focus on logic, not confusion, and it's clear that that's how these are set up. The green fizzy walls indicate a portal to another world, and you have the ability to change between the chambers and also move them around. Once you get a hold of how this concept works in the first set of chambers, you're ready to move on to the more difficult ones. It's a classy set of chambers, both in aesthetics and puzzle solving. Number 5, Gelocity 1-3 by Radix.
I created this test to let the humans feel good about themselves. It is extremely easy. Just follow the arrows.
My favorite gel in the Portal 2 world is easily the orange one, cause I gotta go fast. I had hoped that someone would make a racetrack using the gel, and these maps do not disappoint. They added some great lines from GLaDOS to make it feel like you're in a racetrack that would be in the game. Playing these tracks remind me of Mario Kart, where you memorize all the secrets and play it over and over and over again until you get a great score. And you get to live in this magical world of Portal and science. Radix also made co-op racing, so you can race against your friends in real time. There's also a scoreboard, and if you submit your video for a high score to Radix, they'll put it on the board for you. That's so old school. I love it. Number 4, Moonbase Luna C 1-5 by Catsy. A huge part of Portal 2 is, of course, the moon, and the delicious dust-based gel that Aperture Science makes. So, of course, it makes sense that someone would want to put test chambers on the moon. There's something else that's special about these test chambers. Let me show you. Pretty cool, right? I mean, duh, the gravity is going to be different. We're on the freaking moon. I love being able to jump across the test chambers and rethink how to solve puzzles. I also like to see just how far I could jump and how using portals could affect movement. Good stuff. The test chambers are also totally lovely to look at. Not only is there a retro vibe to the space station, but you can see space from outside. It's really pretty. I mean, look at Earth. It's right there. Number 3, 12 Angry Tests, Part 1 through 7 by Corette. Oh, so you don't like atmosphere, you don't like weird gimmicks in your Portal games, you want something hard. You want something that's difficult, something that's gonna get in your face and be like, this is like gonna be Portal 3 hardcore mode, only for the best puzzle makers and testers, that's it. Well, I got something for you. 12 Angry Tests is a series of test chambers created by a turret who was fired from his job and has sworn revenge on you. It's a pretty simple story. Clearly, someone put an evil genius brain inside this turret because these tests may make you angry. In Portal 2, there's very few tests that made me go, "Argh!" out loud. There weren't many tests that pushed you mentally as well as your honor as a gamer. 12 Angry Tests provides maps that are a little off. The kind of solution where you mutter to yourself, that can't possibly be how I solve this. Oh no, wow, okay, it really is. These kind of maps expect you to think fast, dodge obstacles, and yes, plummet to your death on occasion. Some of these tests will leave you sitting in a room trying to figure out how you could possibly solve this test, and once you try the option that is clearly so wrong, it of course works perfectly. These are tests that could only be made by a defective turret that was smashed one too many times against hard concrete. If you don't want to occasionally yell in frustration at that stupid spiky plate, then these may not be for you. But to me, the challenge is part of the fun. Number 2, Facade by Colonel Panic. This is the map that got me hooked on playing community test chambers, so it's very near and dear to my heart. I played it back in 2012, and I still like to play it now in 2019. It's less about challenging test chambers and more about storytelling, exploring, and listening to Cave talk through a loudspeaker behind a door. I was hooked in the first couple of seconds. Let's take a look. This sets the mood for the rest of the map. It's pretty short and sweet, but I love how Panic uses voice clips and puzzling to kind of tell jokes and be playful. And it's just a nice place to explore and look around. If you enjoy atmosphere and design, this is for you. I actually don't want to show you too much since the surprises of this little map make it what it is. Number 1, The Unreal Chambers, 1 through 4 by Underlux. To understand why this was instantly my number 1 favorite test chamber, let me show you something. Forget all your expectations. Lean into the House of Mirrors and take a dive into a new way of doing science with portals. Nothing is as it seems. From endless mazes to vanishing rooms to looking glasses into different dimensions, these maps are like wandering through Wonderland. As you can tell from my list of favorite community test chambers, playfulness is one of the things that are most important to me. These maps aren't only playful though, they're clever and strange. Simply putting a block on a button takes a lot more thinking when reality has taken a lunch break. While some of the gimmicks might be confusing at first, once you understand their purpose and how they can alter the test chamber, each puzzle is very logical. The challenge comes from using these new sets of tools with portals to find the solution. I hope you can find delight in these surprises and humor in each map while still enjoying the challenge of exploring an upside-down world. So, those are my top 10 favorite chambers. What do you think? If you have some favorites that you think should have made the top 10, leave a comment below and maybe I'll play it for the channel. I love to do science.